Good morning. I'm Henry Lee. I'm sorry today is a little late. So every day I practice my calligraphy, and I will broadcast live here. The time is hard to set in advance. So I will say between 8 and 9 Pacific time. So today is about 9. That's okay. The style I try to learn recently is Yan Zhenqing, a Tang Dynasty master calligrapher style. But this copybook is not by Yan Zhenqing, but maybe someone in late dynasties, Song, Ming, or Qing even. But I don't know. I will doing some more research to find out, but that doesn't affect, the my judgment of this favorite copybook that I inherited from my grandfather. So today I'm going to use the first copy method I mentioned to continue our course or study. So in the first few days, I copied the first page of the first chapter. This is the second page. Okay, I have to move this. Let me just page by page. Sorry. I use a computer printout of my original calligraphy copybook, and I protect it with a plastic I bought from an online store from China. They designed this for the use of a copy with a light box. You can buy a very good quality LED light box very cheaply, like $30 from Amazon. I'll put a link if you're interested in that. So you can copy or trace anything from calligraphy to Gumby style painting, detailed outline painting, very useful. So let me cover this part so it will not glare. I have posted the entire text and the contemporary Chinese translation, as well as English translation of my own with Google Translator help. It's not easy to translate classical Chinese on Google, using the artificial intelligence program. So it will take me a while to translate the whole thing. If you're interested in, please sign up to my online class, calligraphy class. We can share. I need to edit intensively after Google's initial translation, but I can do word-to-word translation, no problem. This character here is 水, means water. Water, like you see, is very important. Or moisture. So this is a 水. It's very similar to the technique we use if you're familiar with the character eternity, right? 永字八法, the 8 strokes. If the ink is too much water, you get smear. So I have to grind it a little bit. I try to recycle the old ink. You don't have to wash your inkstone if you use it every day for calligraphy. You know, if you have this like smearing stroke, which means the water is not correct, the ink is too thin. So the first thing I learned from my teacher when I was a child is to grind the ink slowly, gradually, and it takes about half an hour maybe to meditate, to calm yourself down until you reach a intensity of like a paste, ink paste. You can see the trace of the ink stick when you grind it. Let me just use some help from a chunk I got from the ink cake. This will make it easier. You can see the ink start to become a paste. Because the ink cake has lots of particles. You can hear the sand sound. Okay, I have to keep going, I think. Let me change the paper. I don't want to use this piece. So this is I think there are 2 pages here. It's hard to separate the mulberry paper. I always have people complain saying I got the 10 sheets short, which we really don't believe that because we count everything twice from before we send out. See, I got another sheet. I didn't realize that. So we got this second sheet just stuck together. If you count 3 times, they're the same result. Please contact us. We'll send you makeup. Most likely you have miscounted because I always do that. It's very hard to separate this paper. This is mulberry paper number 3. Means natural white or unbleached off-white. Okay. So we talked about the first part of the calligraphy. Is the paper, and then we talked about brush. It's like a weapon. Ink is like the armor or arms and ammunitions. This talk about the water and the inkstone. That's what we just talked about. Okay, water. This character means 水. Is 水 means water. Better. So when the 水 is right, the water is right, you can write good calligraphy. You have to know the 水 amount, the moisture amount in the brush all the time. This brush is kind of stiff. Stiff brush has advantage with the spring, but it's kind of hard to tame. This second character I'm writing is Yan. Yan means inkstone. 水验者 What is 水验? What is water and inkstone? I think water inkstone just meaning the inkstone here. With water, you grind ink from water. 水验者 What is 水验? It says like the city wall, 城池也. Chen means the city with a wall. Chi means the ditch. You know when you make a city wall, you have to make a ditch and use the earth to build the wall, right? So this is the city protecting. Usually they come with the ditch and the wall. This is outside the wall usually. 池, 城池. So it's a term referring to the walled city. 池 means pool, like a pond. Pool, city pool, city river, if you like. So 水验者城池也 means is. Yeah. It's the end of the statement. You go up and then go down, and go back. Where is that? I cannot see. Oh, it's interesting. It almost touched the first character there. So this way I can learn composition. Unlike the graded standard calligraphy, actually you can see the characters kind of intermingle each other. The lines kind of break the grids, become integral part of a composition. That's very artistic to me. I like to learn. It's hard to avoid the conflict, but complement each other, as a whole. So when you write, you can fill in the space between the one you're writing with and the previous characters. So it's constant adjustment to the situation. And you keep an eye on the left and right. On the right, we haven't done anything. But since we have the master copy here, I know what's going to happen. So you need to leave space for the later. You see, if I don't consider composition, this character has a lower right foot. But with this character, it just filling the void. It says 本领者 meaning skill, the skill. This character means the. I think I should write this part first. This one first, then this, and then this side. It's hard to learn the stroke order, but there's some website that shows you the correct order. While we speak, I made another mistake. Better concentrate on my writing. So when you trace, you still have to follow the correct stroke order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this. You have to sit right in front of the characters. You don't lean on the side. You know, my nose is aligned with the center of the stroke. This character. You may have some blank, some blind spot when you write, but that's perfectly okay as long as you use your other senses, your mind, and know what you are doing before you put the brush. Maybe there's some, twist, some shift from the original. That's okay. Don't try to fill in the blanks little by little. This is not allowed. Multiple stroke is not allowed. Just one stroke. see how I do this. All the way down and then turn back and kick up. This kick can point into the next stop. So these are the connection lines. I say it's not a stroke, but connection lines. You see that often in the grass style, but here also in the standard script. The standard script actually is from the grass style, the cursive style. Cursive style comes before this print. It's from the cursive style is from the Calligraphy style, the official handwriting style of the Han Dynasty. If you learn the history of Chinese calligraphy, and this particular print style is based on the cursive style, so the connection between strokes is still there. You can see this connections. I really like the balance of these characters. They're not symmetrical, but so balanced. See this? If in print, from computer print, you see this radical the sun right aligned with the top, but not so here. It's so dynamic. So the skill is like the general, and the heart and the mind is the second general. We'll talk about those later. Again, if you like to have a downloadable copy of this, you can sign up to my online class at ChineseBrushPainting.ning.com. I'll give the link in the video description. And I also provide my translation and maybe interpretation of what it says more in my class. You can get all the brushes and the inkstone and ink stick, the water container, brush and brush holder, things like this at our online store. The brush I'm using is called Wang Xizhi calligraphy brush. Wang Xizhi is the author of this article called the On Brush Work, or the brush theory, 笔势论. I haven't decided how to translate it, but this article is written by him. Let me write the name for you so you can find that. This brush I'm using is, let me turn this light off. Better. Wang 王羲志。That's the most important calligrapher in Chinese art history. He was recorded using a red whisker brush, which means a very stiff brush. It's not necessarily made from the red whisker, maybe originally, but these days they use synthetics or other animals' hair to make it. But still, it's a very stiff brush. This brush is made by my dear friend in Nanjing, Xu Laoshan, with his signature on it, and I have some left. It's commissioned by me to make this for calligraphy lessons, called the Youjun 书法. Youjun is the title, the general of the Right Army. It's his pen name. Actually, his military title, official title. That's what he is known in the history. People, call his name by his title. It's very common. 右军书法 means Wang Xizhi calligraphy brush. So we translate this brush, 右军书法, as Wang Xizhi calligraphy brush. So you find Wang Xizhi calligraphy brush at blueheronarts.com. I'll put the link in the end of this video. So if you want the same brush, it's very good. I have a sample I recently received from a very satisfied customer in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia. He compared with all the other brushes from Korea, from Japan maybe, and find this his favorite to write Wang Xizhi's most famous piece called the Nanting Xu, the Orchid Pavilion Preface. If you are into Wang Xizhi calligraphy, you better try this one. It will save you 10 years of practice, maybe. It's very, this one I used it for painting, so it starts to, you can say, to lose the tip. But this one was probably unglued brush or broken brush. We got this sometimes. We replace it. If you got something like this, you can fix it with glue. If it's something the fernal unglued, and I can still use it as long as the head is good, right? I used this for painting. Just same brush can do everything. Wang Xizhi. Wang. Well, it's probably designed to write mid character, so we call it Wang Xizhi calligraphy for mid character calligraphy. I do use it for large character like this, but you start to push it to, to the limit. Maybe the best is to use 1/3 of the brush. So probably you write just this big, like in the Lanting Pavilion. If you write this with only the tip, maybe a little bigger. So this mid correct about 1 inch. It's the best. Let's see how big we can go. that's just, you see this one I started today, so you can do very big, right? Up to 2 inches, 3 inch even. Any other questions? Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow then. Have a great week. Bye bye everybody.